Hi, my name is Mark Seaver with Second Earth Foundation, and we're here today with Dr. Philip Pappas, a leading expert in the health and wellness industry for well over 45 years. Now, Dr. Pappas not only has a background in clinical pharmacology, investigating some of the well-known drugs and helping to make them still on the market today, but after entirely leaving the industry, went into all-natural healthcare practices. Doc Pappas is the owner of Earth Foods in Buckingham, PA, featuring vitamins, herbs, minerals, and homeopathic remedies. Now, Dr. Pappas, former director of the Abington Stress Management Center, the Abington ADD program, and the Abington Behavioral Health and Association, and available for your health needs. And Dr. Pappas is certified by the Rath Institute as a community health educator. And consultations for Dr. Pappas are made by appointment and through this website. However, I specifically designed this website where you almost really don't need a consultation. In other words, you can save all that money from going to somebody because we're going to lay out the entire health program of just about everything that you need to know to regain your health, and not only regain your health, but to bring it into a vibrant state of well-being. Hi, we're here today at Pennypack Park in Pennsylvania with a leading expert in the health and wellness industry for over 45 years, Dr. Philip Pappas. Dr. Pappas has a background in clinical pharmacology, as he was part of a team that helped to design and create some of the well-known drugs that are out on the market today. But after entirely leaving that industry, he went into all-natural healthcare practices. Hey, so Doc, tell us about your expertise in pharmacology and why you ultimately left that field.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me here on this really beautiful day, and I am grateful that I have the good health to enjoy this. I went into pharmaceuticals basically when I got out of college, just to learn more about health and wellness and what I thought was how to cure people of illnesses. What I learned was that pharmaceuticals really don't cure anything, they just treat symptoms. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a tremendous amount of information to learn about, and it's all important. But after 23 years of it, I decided that there must be more to health and wellness, so I decided to leave that industry and get into the wellness industry, and I've never regretted it. I've never looked back.
Well, Doc, we have had discussions about the health and wellness and holistic types of health, or what we call natural health, and about the use of drugs. And I'd like you to touch on a few points about drugs, what they do, what you learned about what they do, and which is really the reason why you left pharmacology and went into all-natural health.
Well, one of the most important things that I learned in pharmacology happened the first week I was on the job, when my boss, who had me in an orientation, later in the evening, after we were done learning the whatever we were learning, technical information, he said to me, "I want to tell you something very, very important." And he wasn't smiling when he said this. I knew he meant business when he said this. He said, "If you ever use the word cure, we will fire you immediately. Don't ever use that word. We don't cure anything, and the FDA does not allow us to say that." From that moment on, I realized what I was doing in pharmacology. I knew I was going to be in a pharmaceutical company that was selling a drug for a symptom. I knew I wasn't curing anything. And that statement, I think, probably above everything else I've ever heard, describes exactly what pharmaceuticals are about.
What do you mean for a symptom, Doc? What do you mean for a symptom?
When a doctor prescribes a pharmaceutical product to you, a prescription drug to you, he's treating a symptom of that condition. So in other words, if a doctor gives you a statin drug, he's giving it to you to lower your cholesterol, assuming that that cholesterol is actually doing something bad inside your arteries, something to your cardiovascular system.
So really, that by just taking these drugs, they're covering up what's really causing the illness, and eventually your body's going to be getting worse because the root cause of the illness is not being addressed.
Well, yes. When you treat a symptom, you don't necessarily have an illness. You're kind of preventing something from happening. However, that generally speaking creates another problem, because every drug that you take has side effects whether you feel them or not. Every time you take a drug, something in your body is damaged and a repair has to be made. After 20 years of, say, taking an antihypertensive, you're going to have significant damage in your body. It may be your kidneys, it may be your liver, it may be your heart, because many heart drugs actually create congestive heart failure when used in the long term.
All right,
so
are you saying that the drugs are toxic and over time they literally poison your body?
Yes, every drug is toxic. Every time you take a drug, you ingest some type of toxin and your body has to deal with it. Remember, toxin is just a nice word for being poisoned.
All right, so they're not really side effects, they're the direct effects of the drug.
Those are the direct effects, the toxicity. However, drugs as a molecule usually have side chains, and those side chains, although they mimic natural things, it's the side chains that cause the additional side effects.
All right, so you went into natural health to address the root causes of illness, so that rather than your symptoms being covered, your body will get what it needs to heal. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, perfect. Let's just look at your cholesterol. Is it or isn't it causing you any damage? So if you're only looking at the number, say you have a 230 cholesterol, you may have a wonderful, wonderful cardiovascular system and nothing wrong with you. Why would you want to treat that? So you have to look at the person and really in the condition they're in. If they have a good cardiovascular system, why would you want to change that?
Well, I understand that when cholesterol goes up, sometimes it's trying to tell you something if the body's actually doing what it needs to do to help itself because something's going off in the system.
Well, of course, cholesterol is very important for your body. It repairs your whole nervous system. One thing that may make your cholesterol go higher is if you're not eating enough fat. If you're not eating enough fat, it tells your body to make more cholesterol so it can go on with its repair process. If you eat more fat, very often your cholesterol may go down. So it's a balance. It's how we eat, it's how we take care of ourselves.
So really your cholesterol going up is, number one, protecting your body, and it's telling you something. And what the doctors do is they give you a drug to bring it down, and they don't even look at anything of what it's saying or what it's there to help protect you. So by taking it down sometimes, they're actually hurting you because now you're losing that protection mechanism.
Many drugs, like statins, are built to inhibit something. And when you inhibit something in your body, then your body doesn't have that material to rebuild itself. So yes, it's exactly correct. They're creating more problems when in fact there may not really be a problem there.
Okay, so the cholesterol example is just one example of basically the overall look of pharmacology and how doctors are treating patients. So Doc, you've owned Earth Foods in Buckingham, Pennsylvania for how many years now?
I've owned it for 5 years. It's a family business.
And how long have you been seeing people and consulting people over the years?
Well, I actually started seeing people 20 years ago, but in the store I see people every day.
Okay. And how many people would you say that you've seen over the years?
Well, between consults, on a daily basis, we see anywhere from 10 to 20 people.
10 to 20 people. And would you say you've been doing that for 20 years?
The 10 to 20 people would be for 5 years. Before that, I may have seen somewhere around 10 to 12 people a day.
Well, in my estimation, if I add up 10 people a day for 20 years, I get over 50,000 people, it seems like you've consulted with.
Mark, I've never kept track, but that's probably not a bad piece of arithmetic. I will go for that.
Okay. Doc, let me ask you a question. What is causing all the disease, and especially since the 80s, such an incredible incline in the numbers in our population of people coming down with illness? I mean, there's heart disease, cancer, diabetes has risen. I mean, tenfold is from the 1980s till now. I mean, it's just exploded. What's caused all that?
Well, Mark, we've moved away from who we used to be, so we have had tremendous lifestyle changes. Our food is different, our work is different, we're exposed to all types of chemicals, noise, it just goes on and on. So as a result, our bodies haven't dealt with this well, and we are breaking down. I
mean, look at this. It's amazing, the increase. Look at autism. I think it was 1 in 10,000 in the 1980s, and now it's 1 in 110. And these are staggering increases in the rate of illness in the population. I mean, there's chronic pain, frequent urinary problems, exhaustion, depression and anxiety, multiple sclerosis, arthritis, obesity. I mean, the list goes on and on. High blood pressure, negative disc, and degenerative disc disease, and massive spine problems and stroke in the United States, and the list just goes on and on and on, and the stress in our society it's at a breaking point. And so, Doc, what is causing this alarming rise in illness amongst the population?
Because we're doing things wrong, and our bodies are paying for it, and as a result, all these chronic illnesses are growing, and they grow every year. It never ends.
So we've basically established that within the population, disease is just exploding. And is there a base reason, I mean, a basic reason why all of this disease is exploding throughout the population, and basic things that people can do to help to turn that around?
Well, our lifestyle tends to make us more acidic. We want to really be more alkaline. And as a result, when we're acidic, we develop things like arthritis and degenerative joints. And this is our pain and our inflammation. One way to change that is make yourself as alkaline, and you can do that by using salt. Not table salt, which is bleached with chlorine and has all kinds of chemicals in it, but a good quality Himalaya type salt for minerals and good alkalization.
Why Himalayan salt?
Himalayan salt is known to be one of the purest salts on the face of the earth. It's one of the oldest salts on the face of the earth. And that, it carries all the minerals and the alkalinity you need to make yourself healthy.
So those salt flats built up hundreds of thousands of years ago, and basically that's pristine salt.
It's pristine salt, and it's a perfect salt, and it's a very healthy salt.
Well, what about that compared to, let's say, sea salt, which is touted to be really good?
Sea salt, of course, is a good eating salt, and it tastes good, but it does not have the mineral content of a very ancient salt like Himalayan salt.
And how about any of the, like, we know that there's a lot of mercury in the ocean. They even warned us years ago that pregnant mothers should not be eating tuna fish more than once a week. Does that have anything to do with the salt that we get from the ocean?
Well, absolutely. You don't want those toxins. So Himalayan salt up in the Himalayan mountains, which is mined out of the mountain, is clean, it's pristine, and it's not exposed to all the modern chemicals that are in the ocean.
And the salt that we're offering people, it's really not that expensive.
Salt is a very inexpensive way to keep yourself healthy.
Okay, so right now, everybody, we're going to take a break, and we're going to point you down to the link right below. You can click on that. You can look at what our salt has and what the salt is, and then just go on to the next video, and we're going to teach you more very interesting things and more things of how you can simply and easily change little bits at a time and get yourself vibrantly healthy and alive and feeling like you're supposed to feel.